A very good morning and welcome to the Sunday edition of Global Mornings, a program where we entertain ourselves, we learn, we educate ourselves, and we have all of the right information to run with and have a wonderful weekend. Our weekend is gradually coming to an end. I hope you've been enjoying your weekend. My name is Ubong Musa. I'm welcoming you to the program. Today I have joining me to help make sense of the discussions we're going to be having Priscilla Obasi. A very good morning and happy Sunday to you, Priscilla.
Yeah, good morning, Ubong, and good morning to our beautiful viewers out there. Today is a special day.
Why is it special?
It's Mother's Day, right? I don't know if it's the 10th or the 11th, but I'm happy that, we get to mark this. And before we went on air, I was saying something. I don't know why people have a problem with men celebrating themselves, but nobody does have a problem too. But I sometimes when I heard it was Mother's Day, right? I had to rethink. I started to count how many Mother's Day we have celebrated this year, and for me, I wasn't so comfortable, right? But at the same time, who stops you from celebrating yourself, right? So we need to look back at these dates, the markings, and the calendar generally, and look at the significance. Because I think the thing is, everybody has their day mapped out for this thing. I know that there are churches that have their different days where they celebrate women. The Catholic community celebrated Mothering Sunday some 2 weeks ago. Before then, we've had the International Women's Day, and I think at some point we had a Mother's Day. So, what is the distinctive factor of this particular days where women are celebrated? Something to really look into, right? And then, we shouldn't be distracting ourselves with all of these debates, though, because it's a day just to celebrate. But we need to get the right information out there so that we stop hearing talks around how many Mother's Day do we have in a year? Why is it that every day is Mother's Day? Just the same way some ladies will come out to say every day is their birthday to get gifts. I know. So, was it last weekend too? It was Father's Day for some churches. It was Fathering Sunday for some churches. I don't know if it's the Catholic community or so, but I heard one or two people saying, "Oh, it's Father's Day." I'm like, "Oh, who is going to give us a unified, marking so we know exactly what these days are?" Right? I don't know if you have a problem with all of that, though.
No, absolutely no. I do not have a problem with. In fact, I feel we can't even celebrate women more, right?
Wow.
We can't celebrate women more. Women have been a critical, in fact, they are an integrated, critical part of our society. We cannot have any society without women. That's clear. But that said, the consciousness of let people celebrate me is where I have issues with. If you want to celebrate yourself as a woman, you cannot force celebration on me.
I guess.
I can decide to celebrate you, but you can celebrate yourself. But even if it's every day, that is Women's Day, Mother's Day, Wives Day, a lot of days, right? It's fine and good. I don't have a problem with that. But let it be your celebration. Do it your own way.
Well, you do it when you want to do it. Or you celebrate who you want to celebrate.
Absolutely. At my own terms and conditions. It may not even be on the days.
Oh.
It'll be when I feel that I should.
Okay.
I have a choice. So you don't push me into a corner of this celebration.
Why are you celebrating today?
It's Valentine, so if you love me, you have to show me love. That means you go before the
time. Okay, but then it's today is Mother's Day, and it's a day to celebrate amazing mothers out there. I was saying something within the week. I said, as much as we have wonderful mothers, we also have bad mothers.
Yeah.
And we live in a society that excuses bad mothers. I don't know, but somehow nobody talks about. People feel like the mothering space is solely owned by a woman and her child. Do not interfere. Do not, poke nose. Yeah. So there are children that actually grow up with bad mothers. Yeah, they do. And for the sake of, or for the purpose of, the fact that it's a mother that is responsible for some aspects of your life, people do not want to interfere. They're going through the worst situations of your life, but because it is my mother, I cannot speak out, because the moment I try to speak out, people would want to criticize me for talking against my mother. I was at a saloon during the week, and somebody was talking to a lady in that space. He said, oh, maybe he picked up her phone, And he was scrolling through her gallery, and then he saw a picture. Like, oh, this is your mother. You look like, or I forgot how I put it, but something like you took after your mother, or you took after your mother. And immediately she said, I can never be like my mother. Okay, you are like your mother. That's what she said. He said to her, you are like your mother. And she said, I can never be like my mother. And everybody just looked at her. Personally, I mean, I had to reflect on that response. But there was someone in that space that said to her, no, don't you ever say such a thing. You're talking about your mother. Do you know that's a curse? When you have to say you can never be like your mother, you are bringing up a generational curse for yourself that your children would even inherit. And I had to shut her up, really. I had to just tell her, no, you can't empathize with someone. For a child to publicly say this thing, you know that this is just the tip of the iceberg. You get, that was just something that escaped. If you look deep, you will see that there is more that she can't even say. So we need to, number one, empathize with situations, stop the judgment, right? There are, I'm just saying all of this to say that there are bad mothers. As much as we want to celebrate with them, nobody ever admits that their mother is the bad one. Nobody wants to admit that, but we need to, have a habit or have it as a norm to call out the ills of motherhood, bad motherhood traits that we see in the society. We are in that generation where, the Gen Zs are, doing their thing with motherhood. Sometimes you see videos on social media and you're like, how did we get here? What are we doing here? I mean, when did this become a norm? As much as we want to embrace change, as much as we want to throw away some archaic traditions, we must not cross the line. We must know that if we're pushing for a better society, for healthier adults, emotionally stable adults, we must be concentrated, focused on raising healthy children. So not everything. Some things are good, but it's not for all of us, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing, but you don't have to just always jump on the trend, always, want to belong. Always, there's a time and a place for everything. So I really feel like we need to remind ourselves of principles, valid principles, that we would use or that we have used over time to raise beautiful, healthy children. Another thing is also knowing when to throw away the wrong, the traditional attributes and habits that did not really give us any benefits. Sometimes we want to hold on to, this is how my mother did it, this is how we used to do it in the time past, this is, the way to go. I mean, I made it like this, I have to go. There are times to question norms. There are times to say, where did this come from? How did we get here? Just like the girl or the mother that usually use a particular size of pot, a very small size of pot to cook. And then her daughter will ask her, why do you use this particular size? And she says, that's how my mother used to do it. This is the size of pot that is needed to use to cook this particular kind of meal. And the daughter had to call the grandma to ask her, why does my mommy use this? And the grandma explained, when I was, at that time, I didn't have enough money. That's why I resorted to this. But the mother had grown up with the mentality that this is what should be used.
That's very myopic. I'm sorry for the use of the word, but it's very narrow-minded, right? Narrow thoughts and all of that. I just want to say that, as much as we do not have laid down a manual of mothering or motherhood that will make children come out fine, right? We need to do our best by teaching our children values. And one thing about values is that you cannot teach what you are not doing, because children are sensitive to these things. Right?
They do what they see, right. What they see you do, not what you say.
And a lot of mothers are beyond correction. They cannot be corrected by anybody, right? Even when the children could have a better idea and they bring it to us, but for pride of motherhood, they don't want to come down to your level. We've seen mothers that cannot say sorry, even when they are wrong. I've seen mothers accuse children falsely. It was in a situation once where a mother said, "You took my money." Accuse the child. The child said she didn't accuse the child. At the end of the day, she found out that she was the one that
Misplace the money.
misplaced the money.
Yeah.
So once she just came and say, oh, since you say you did not take it now, no problem. There's no closure.
Yeah.
There's no, because you are hurting people's feelings and
Yes.
emotion. And you just believe that tomorrow the child should, because you are the mother, it should forgive you, should move on. It doesn't work that way in the real world rather. So I feel that that's one part that we could, further tell our mothers. Like you've also mentioned, there's also the part about mothers that are not, they don't have values. You go on TikTok, you see those kind of mothers. They are poorly dressed, exposing sensitive parts of their body and all of that in front of children, right? I do not know if we do not have laws against this kind of thing. Children should not be exposed to some kind of content. They do it in front of children wearing off, and they joke about it. They have likes, because that's some of the things that some people like. Go ahead, like, give them likes and all of that. So I think we have to rethink, and increasingly, it's going to get worse going forward
if we don't address it.
I don't think addressing it will, because of the way our society has metamorphosed. Remember, we're coming from a very traditionally, culturally infused society, and we are gradually now going into a very culturally separated society. It's the evolution of our society. When lots of us were born, we had neighbors that we could talk to. We had most of the houses, people lived in first and first you. People were involved in people's houses, people's businesses. Not like involved, but people could, understand there was integration. But the world has evolved now that even apartments now are the least person could afford, maybe a how do you call it?
Self-contained.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But I was trying to remember the other name, right? And could afford that, and so it may rarely even come out. People don't know their neighbors. People are further excluded. So the idiosyncrasies they have, there are ways that are not straightened, cannot be corrected by little or nobody, because they are enclosed in their space. The highest you could do is online, and they love the comments because it brings viability and all of that.
So people are drawn to such because, you see someone going viral, you want to even emulate.
So there's little or no societal influence of building morals again, and it's going to get worse, because with more poverty, with more hunger, people are going to start devising. So mothering is now facing a challenge. So women must, maybe older women, I don't know how people have to do it. If mothering must continue, because a lot of persons are now even outsourcing mothering. Mothering must even continue. So
it's a natural phenomenon. Nothing is stopping it.
No, not giving birth is one thing.
There's one thing to give birth. There's another thing to be
absolutely
to mother a child.
Giving birth is natural. People will keep giving birth, at least if they want, right?
Yeah.
People will keep, but mothering will continue. There has to be a structural change to the structure we operate now.
Yeah, I think our laws need to, we need to have laws that put all these things in check, because the social media space is one way that influences parenting generally. Yeah, a lot of children are exposed to that space, and we need our government to really bring laws. I like what you said when you said, laws that restrict children from being exposed to social media space in a way. It's a different thing when you're trying to give out an educational content, maybe a lesson, something that people can learn from. But it's different when you just bring a child, expose that child to nudity, in the name of entertainment. These things should be curtailed, and I feel like our government is quite slow to grasping the social media space. There are laws that need to be enacted already, but somehow it is still not even looked into. Maybe because we have old people that do not know the reality.
There's a lot of debates. People will say you are cyberbullying them. Right to Information Act.
Yeah.
People are. So we cannot essentially
freedom of speech, freedom of murdering.
Mother. All right. So let's try to look at what the papers are saying this morning. We'll go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll take you through what the papers are saying on a Sunday morning. Please do stay with us.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
So welcome back. This is when we get to look at the papers, what the papers are saying. Priscilla, you walk us through the first paper that you have for us this morning.
Okay, so let's go to the papers. We're starting with the Nigerian Tribune, and first story here says, first story is top left corner above the nameplate. APC NDC trade words over 2027 presidency zoning. I write it to that. Okay, I don't think there's a write it to that, but that very detail is on page 4. You can read it up. The internet, the atmosphere, the political atmosphere in Nigeria is, getting a bit interesting with the whole defections and, political leaders making the headlines every now and then. And next story, Tinubu coordinated approach has changed Nigeria's energy landscape, and that's coming from Oluvehejen. Details on page 19. Next story, why we declared ex-minister Sadiya Farouk wanted, and that's coming from EFCC. Rather to that says, Commission urges Nigerians to volunteer information about her whereabouts. It's quite interesting when I see such an organization calling Nigerians to help them out. With the rate and level of technology we're operating in the world right now, we shouldn't be hearing of such, honestly.
Right.
It's time to equip ourselves. I mean, I'm talking about...
No. It's everywhere now. I think it's everywhere. Whistle blowing.
Whereabouts?
Okay,
How whereabouts?
Yeah, whereabouts? Is she now a fugitive? Those are questions. These are people that should have known addresses.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's for me. It doesn't. Well, next story, and this will be the star story. How Akpabio Oshomale's food set stone for 2027 battles. A writer to that says, face off in Senate. NDF signs of emerging cracks in APC, and that's coming from sources. There have been cracks, actually, not just in the APC, but in all political parties. But for the APC, I think it's quite loud. I've seen a couple of people resign, and even post on their socials. These are people, ardent followers, and
But people are also coming.
yeah, but I mean, they are leaving now than coming in.
No,
They came in earlier. They're leaving. We have a good number of them leaving at this point and coming in.
They also, our political parties like that. People come in, people go out. But when you look at the structure of people, primarily people that have come into APC, we do not have the data. The political parties are submitting their registers. You could check to see. At least now, you can't say it was doctored because of the e-registration that is going on. Check to see the parties that have the numbers. Because these guys are coming in with much more resources than the ruling party. So if you are leaving, it takes more of courage to leave a ruling party.
Exactly, and that's why it's concerning for me. That could it be the result of the primaries that is brewing up? Could it be as a result of the convention that was held? Because all the reactions we see is basically coming from unmet expectations of party
Absolutely.
members.
And we'll keep having that. We'll always have that every election cycle because most politicians are tradesmen. So they come in, they stay in wait, think it will be their turn, and it's not their turn. The next thing they do is run. So there's no ideological support system. And I think that's the kind of politics we must, because the parties they go to shouldn't rejoice yet, because it's not yet done. They could still move to another party.
Exactly.
So it's the same cycle. We went to the ADC, and now some have left the ADC and went to the NDC. And I can assure you that before election day, those who will not be favored in the NDC can return to the APC or
no, it will be late because of the INEC.
they can go there because of appointments, not elected position.
Exactly. Well, that would now be a different case. But at this point, people are in a hurry to meet up with that deadline. Anybody that is not able to meet up with it right now,
midnight,
will either decide to be partyless, or just hang on for an appointment
or contracts.
Contracts, yeah. So next story: NRC accredits AFRI invoice to drive digital tax system. Details on page 27. The very next one says, despite huge resources, Nigerians still wallow in poverty. FAPE laments. FAPE laments. The writer to that says, charges politicians to emulate Awolowo's legacies of transparency, integrity. Details on page 5. And those are your headlines for the Nigerian Tribune. Next point of call is the Sunday Sun, and Ubong takes us through that.
The Sun newspaper Sunday edition. Lead story says NDC zones presidency to South in 2027, North in 2031. The rider, you have Kwankwaso, and I didn't change platform for transactional purposes. That's coming from Peter Obi. Another big story says ADC bombs NDC. Spokesman accuses new party of being Tinubu's tool to destroy opposition. Says Obi, Kwankwaso's desperation helping president's re-election. And there are a lot of conversation about that because the opposition now being fragmented. Already the ruling party have, like they've said, they have 31 governors who are their members. And this fragmentation where yesterday too, you also saw the SDP at their convention come out to say they will present a presidential candidate, and likely going to be Adewale, the last presidential candidate they have. I'm the CEO of Kaftan TV, so Abbas Adewale. So you keep asking yourself, an article, let's even say an article runs, and Obi Kwankwaso runs, and Adewale runs, and maybe Goodluck Jonathan, if he's being able to be pushed into the fray,
and then Tinubu runs.
So
ultimately, I really feel it depends. It's in the hands of Nigerians, the electorate.
Yeah.
So this party,
but you must look at the patterns.
Yeah,
because it matters in politics. You have to look at the patterns.
I
The only
like-
reason Tinubu won this election in 2023 was because Peter Obi and Atiku ran on separate tickets.
Yeah, I think our Nigerian political landscape has really evolved. Democracy is becoming quite knowledgeable to the ordinary Nigerian out there today. Basically because of how we've transitioned, the economic realities. You can factor it on a lot of things. But ultimately, I would still say, yeah, these people that call themselves the coalition, groups, parties, they will do what they can do. At the end of the day, I understand that they have a way of also influencing electorates, right? If they are with their campaigns, you know, with their monies, of course, is a big factor. But it's going to be a tough one. It is going to be a tough one. If you look at it realistically and logically, it will mean that there's so much division in the coalition right now. The unity would also affect, them, whether we like it or not. But ultimately,
The votes will be divided.
The vote will be.
Because
vote will be.
the APC can say their base is there already. Yeah, we've talked about people who've left, but they have they have their base.
But let's not forget that there are people in the APC that can be working for the coalition.
There are many persons in the coalition because the APC may have more resources. We understand how this thing works.
I know a lot of people in the APC that says, well, let's see what happens. If it doesn't favor me, I can stay there. But they can be there and work against. So at the end of the day, it's the human factor. Let's see. You don't know
the opposition would have stood a better chance if they were able to present, like they said at the time, a more consensus candidates, and everybody rallies around from the opposition circle. Because the only time we've had opposition win election in Nigeria was in 2015. This is not 2015. And this is not that precedent, right? So this is a president that is more politically savvy, is more politically sound. So dividing yourselves, the opposition votes, and remember that the voter turnout in Nigeria is still abysmally very low.
Well, do you know what I see happening? I think everybody's just keeping fingers crossed to see the reaction of Nigerians, when it's very close. What can happen is it might get close to elections and these key political figures see that, these people are lining towards this person. They can decide to strike a deal. They can decide to, at that point, still have a coalition. So that might still play out, right? Now everybody's trying to test the waters and see their popularity, their fan base, and all of that. Everything would really play out in their faces to see who is indeed the acceptable one from the common man. Because right now you need the energy, you need the population of, ordinary Nigerians here, the electorate.
So when you say ordinary Nigerians, do you by any chance imply that the ordinary Nigerians may not be supporting the APC government?
I'm not saying so. I said it depends on the body. Like we're talking about coalition right now, the opposition right now. So I think this opposition largely would be determined, or the fate of opposition, the fate of the coalition will really be determined by the body language. Yes, there is.
Well,
They might be in different parties. You saw them having a consensus meeting in Ibadan, coming together. So there is still that.
The meeting said they will present one presidential
Exactly.
candidate.
That is still
They've already, Rotimi Amicha and the rest of them, they've given interviews that they've already, after that meeting, they've already bypassed the resolutions of that meeting.
I'm saying that ultimately it would depend on the body language of Nigerians. They know this themselves. If you really want to take power, the people, as I say, power belongs to the people. So these key political figures are still testing the waters. They are testing their popularity. The dying minute will determine all of this. The people's voice will determine all of this. And let's see what plays out.
And also, just before we move away from that story, time is also of essence because the time for all of this.
You don't need to change parties to align, to realign.
No, I'm not saying changing.
You just need to lend your voice to convince the people.
I'm not saying changing of parties.
Okay.
Time is of essence of the unity that the opposition figures must come together. if you look at the timeline, there are many things that needs to be done between now and then, right? And you do not have that luxury of time. Election is by January, right? So opposition figures, if they want to, push, in my assessment as an analyst, right, some good, away from noise, because we've seen that before. AMAC election happened here. We were here, we heard all of the noise that happened with the opposition. At the end of the day, somebody ran on SDP, somebody ran ADC, fragmented opposition, and we saw what happened. So if they are not working for the ruling party, as have been alleged, they have to look for a way to. That's my view about it.
Yeah, there's no time that is too late for peace. Peace can come at any point in time.
Is it peace?
Yes, because they might not. No, they might not. I'm trying to let you know that they might be in their different parties, but decide to align. I can decide to join forces with this person because I feel like the people have accepted.
When Atiku decide not to run for president,
it's possible. Let's see how it plays out. It's very possible, and even if he does,
let's keep it here.
If he does decide to run, he's
already decided to run.
If he does,
he's picked up the form already.
He has, of course. It depends. Like I said, it depends on. Okay, let's see.
Or maybe Anobi will decide not to run and support an Atiku.
It's still possible. It's still possible. So I feel like everybody's testing. No, everybody's testing the waters to see their popularity, to see how accepted they are by Nigerians. At that time, when you know that if an Atiku sees that this internet or these people, this obedient have really, I don't stand a chance. The wave of 2023 is bigger than what I see now. He can decide to say, okay, let me just align. Let's go back to our agreement. Don't worry, I can stay in the ADC, you stay in your party, but I'll give you my support. I'll hand over my people to you, and we can emerge. If we have a gentleman agreement, at the same time, the Peter Obi can see, a political atmosphere that is favoring Atiku and say, oh, I think I got it wrong. Can we realign? Don't worry, I'm going to stay in the NDC, but I'll tell my people to give you the support. Things can change.
I think that argument is always, because even from the NDC, we've had people like ADC, we've had people like Rotimi Amechi who've come out to say, if Atiku says that the North we have ruled Nigeria for far shorter a time, no problem. On election day, the North will vote for the North. So the South will vote for the South. So there are already fundamental issues that must be settled before that. And if those issues can be settled,
I'm trying to let you know there's every possibility
those issues are settled.
It can be settled.
Because right now, because of this defection, there's a lot of bad blood. And I can tell you as somebody who knows what I'm saying. There's a lot of mistrust.
It has been there from beginning. It's just showing now.
No, the mistrust was when the coalition started. They had meetings for over 18 months. It was a long process. They spoke about it. They decided that we're all coming together. This is what we want to do. And now some persons feel that people or a group of persons seeking personal interest, and that's a key word. Some persons in the coalition now feel, and they're very prominent members, people like Ken Otokonko, who's always been there. You've heard the things they've said. And
Ken Otokonko has not changed his stance. Whatever he's doing right now is the same. Nothing has changed.
Bolaji Abdullahi and the rest of them, fundamentally, I've talked about it. So I'm telling you, as somebody who's spoken to some of these persons, they feel that somebody came in and is self-seeking. That's the mind now. So if they are able to know that it's not about self, because from now what they are looking at is self. You are looking after yourself. That's why it's about you. You have to.
It's not just about you. It's about it's about what Nigerians want. The population, the majority of Nigerians.
It's not about what we agreed, right? We had meetings and all of that. So that mistrust is there. So it's going to be very difficult, but it can be done, like you said. It's also possible if at the end of the day. But I'll tell you, as a political analyst, I don't see this happening.
Well, like I said, it is not just about the key political leaders. It's about the electorate and what the volume of their voice. I think that is what will determine what will happen.
They listen. We'll do that in Nigeria. Listen. To voice. You want to tell Atiku not to run. Atiku has been running since 1999. This is like his best chance.
Best chance?
Yes, that's what he says.
It's not the best chance.
He says this is like his best chance because the calculation they are making from that camp is that the southern vote will be divided between.
It looks like you really want Atiku to run.
It's already picked up form. I didn't pay for it. It's a 90 million naira form. We picked it up.
Well, let the best man win, as they say.
The best man. Okay. All right.
Let the best man win.
Let's look at other stories this morning.
Okay, so are we done with the Sunday Sun?
Not yet.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just do that one paper so we could get into our discussion segment today. All right, so other stories on the Sun newspaper, Sunday edition says, I won Miss Ebonyi. Pageants through hard work, prayers and fasting. Oh, Rachel Adeleke, congratulations on that. Doubts, caution, hopes over NNPC Chinese refinery deal. Labour, energy experts express skepticism, marketers endorse partnership. Tinubu strategy, converting Nigeria's gas endowment into jobs, export, economic diversification. Months to election, opposition in chaos. APC crinks as Jonathan's rumored ambition complicates political calculation. Stories on page 1 and 8 of the newspaper. We'll just do one more newspaper and that will be all.
Okay, so that should be the Vanguard, the Sunday Vanguard. We're starting with the very first story above the nameplate, and it's on xenophobia. Our South African horror stories by survivors. 588 killed, 121,100 displaced in 7 days. That is quite a number. And that is coming from Ambassador Obisaki. Ambassador Olumoko, South Africa should pay compensation. I absolutely agree to this. I don't know what our government is doing. I don't know how strong their voices are, but we cannot have Nigerians, being displaced and treated anyhow in Africa. And we call ourselves the giant of Africa. This is really a misplaced priority. Maybe not priority, but it doesn't really say well of us. It doesn't really say well of the fact that we should be at the top of affairs when it comes to relations with our fellow or other African country. But that detail is right on page 7. Next story, EFCC declares ex-minister Farouk wanted over alleged 37 billion fraud. I beg your pardon. Details on page 9. Let's go to the Star story that says 2027, the odds favor Obi Kwankwaso as NTC zones president to the south, VP to the north. Well, it's clear because there's some people that came out to say, oh, Nigerians like propaganda. Some of them came out to say, oh, it has to be a KO and not an OK. And we say, yeah, no, it has to be OK and not KO. But this clears the air on that. It means that an OB will be. Of course, I don't know if they will still have the primaries to do, but it's clear. The handwriting is on the wall already. Right. Yeah, that it's Obi and Kwankwaso, and that's the OK movement. Restrict tickets to single 4-year term. This is the agreement that we also saw almost play out at the ADC. I know that Obi has always been clamoring for a 1 term. I don't know what he wants to do in 1 term, but let's see the magic that comes out. Because Nigeria is a complex state. Maybe he helps us untie one rope, because I know that it has been intertwined. There are lots of, untying to do when it comes to fixing Nigeria. But he says 1 year, 1 term, 4 years, 1 term can fix it. Fears mount, Atiku, others may play into Tinubu's hands. Ultimately, like I said, this might be the case. Is that you play into the Tinubu's hand, or you decide to join the coalition, because you know that the people's body language are saying Kwankwaso. If Kwankwaso was not in the picture, maybe, just maybe, an Atiku would
when you say the people, you could just say some person, because the people is an
I'm talking about the people, the coalition, people that are supporters of the coalition generally. And Nigerians are quite divided into 2 right now: the ruling party and the coalition. Yeah, so for the coalition,
is there still a coalition?
Well, maybe not a coalition, but maybe opposition, right? So for the opposition, a lot of people are gearing towards a particular candidate. So you look at the percentage of the people that are coming towards me, and you see that, it's just 20%. I can't stand the chance. Instead of going to embarrass myself in the polling unit and, you know, coming third against second. Do you understand? It will be somehow a defeat. Even if you don't eventually win. But you can't go to the polls and in 2023 you came second, 2023 you're coming fifth, or do you get? So you would want to talk to yourself. If you have advisors, they'll tell you, oh, please, it's either you go towards a Tinubu or you go towards this people, or have a gentleman agreement with, so that they know that you're part of the victory. Whichever way, that is where it will tilt towards eventually. That is what I see, you know, happening. And that detail, all of that is on page 12. Asian on intelligent women. That details on page 19. Lagos APC shops for Hamzat's deputy. Sounds as if they're going to one shopping mall to get him, but you want to read of that on page 26. Night of Glamour, Linda Ejiofor, Uzo Arukwe, Uche Montana shine at AMVCA 2026. It was a glamorous night.
The dresses were actually it spoke to Nigeria's
fashion industry,
yeah. Intention, growth, process. It was actually an amazing and some persons, for me, like Kanayo God of a Lifetime Award, and I felt he practically deserved it.
Yeah.
He's done so much in the industry.
Yeah, and then we had the likes of Uche Montana. I don't know if you've seen the trending Monica. I think that movie got her that trailblazing award. You have the likes of Linda Ejiofor. She has been exceptional on the screen. And it just goes to say, somebody was on this program saying, oh, the likes of, you know, the music industry and, you know, Nollywood we have right now, it's basically the initiative of Nigerians. I don't know how much our government puts into this space. Honestly, I cannot really see. I feel like we ought to have gone past where we are at right now. But what you see existing right now is the efforts of individuals, you know, and their creativity. And it goes to say that Nigerians are talented, we are blessed. And if only we can get the support of the government, more support from the government, I don't think we'll be where we are. We'll have a lot of job creation in that stage, because that is where the youths are tending towards, right? So our government needs to really spotlight that angle, that space, and harness more Nigerian youths, make it, you know, more productive than what it is, take it to the next level. Yeah, so that's basically it. That detail is right there on page 26. Governors Forum, how Uzodinma survived palace coup. Details on page 14. ATF crisis threatens Arewa agenda. Details on page 5. Tinubu's 4 trillion naira bond program reviving power sector. Verheyen, presidential advisor on energy. You'll find a detail on page 4. And those are the interesting, I think Vanguard seems to be loaded with interesting stories. So you want to read up details by getting yourself a copy. Those are the headlines for the Vanguard newspaper. All
right, so let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we get to speak about the NDC convention and the zoning of the presidency. We'll also bring the videos, live videos that we got yesterday at the convention ground. Please do stay with us.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@erojim.com. Website www.erojimdesign.com. Erojim. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
So, welcome back to the program. Yesterday, we saw something very interesting happening at the Nigerian Democratic Congress, a new political party that has just been about 3 months, but has gathered a lot of steam because of the coming of so many Nigerian politicians into that party. And yesterday was their convention, and I'm just going to bring to us some of the things that happened in the convention. We saw people speaking at the convention, the party agreeing to a one-term presidency for the South. That's for 2027 to complete President Tinubu's already, time in office, right? And also in 2031, the party came out very strong to say that they will be supporting a northern candidate in 2031, and we know that two very prominent politicians have moved into that party, talking about Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and Peter Obi. And it speaks to the politicking, it speaks to the ability of the party to come out and say this is the path that we want to go and where the party is going from here as Nigerians. And it's a political development, as some persons have said. Is it actually very possible in Nigeria for somebody to say, I will do a single term of 4 years? Can you fix power in 4 years? Can you fix infrastructure in 4 years? Can you fix transportation in 4 years? What can even be done in 4 years? These are conversations that have continued to be spoken of in the public domain as Nigerians have asked questions and talked about this, if this is really possible or if it's just plain politicking, right? And those are questions. But let's bring you some of the videos that we had yesterday before we can go ahead and speak to our guests who will be joining us as we look at this NDC convention and what happened. All right, so we saw the party, the NDC, zoning its 2027 presidential ticket to southern Nigeria. Let's bring that video to you now.
That the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, hereby zones its presidential ticket for the 2027 presidential elections to southern Nigeria for the remaining and single term of 4 years. Northern Reversion 2031, that upon the completion of the said 4-year term in 2031, the presidential ticket of our great party, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, shall automatically and irrevocably rotate to northern Nigeria.
We don't want that to continue. We want to do a new Nigeria. A Nigeria where Nigerians will be safe, where there will be justice, where there will be food, where our children will go to school and come back, where mothers will no longer cry. That is what we want to do. A Nigeria where there is no IDP camp. Everybody will be home. Those mothers in Benue who are living in IDP camp must go home. Those mothers in Jos must go home. And we secure everywhere. Where there will be productivity in Kano. Where there will be productivity in Kaduna. That is what we want to do. We thank you for being part of today. It's a great day. Let us go home and start the war. The war starts today. The work in ensuring that we chase out all these people who are making our country, others who agreed that you can forge certificates, others who agreed that doing the wrong thing is right. That are the people who want to chase out. Thank you. May God Almighty that brought you here take you home safely and continue to bless all of you and your families. And we can start by most sincerely thanking the NDC family led by our leader, Frank Dixon, for the invitation and the warm welcome we received. I want to use the same opportunity that every time the NDC where we are coming from, for accommodating us politically, when due to unresolved litigation, we left our parties, Labour Party and NNPP, and assured them that we wish them all the best. Especially thanking the chairman of the party, who was very exceptional, David Mark. As we are here now in NDC, we are part of this family. And this is a great family that have gone around Nigeria. Today in Nigeria, we are seeing beneficiaries of our democracy, beneficiaries of our judiciary, beneficiaries of good governance, turn themselves into an agent of destroying democracy, into an agent of injustice, into an agent to ensure that what they benefited from will no longer apply to Nigerians, especially to the opposition party. And I thank the leaders of NDC, especially the leader, for insisting we can't have one party in Nigeria. Nigeria must have democracy, and we insist that those who think we will have free and fair election in 2027, let them rethink now. Because in 2027 we are going to have free Today in Nigeria, over 140 million Nigerians live in are not sure that their children that went to work will come back. Every Nigerian today is worried. No Nigerian knows where the next meal will come from. Because Nigeria is down among the 100th country of the world, among the most insecure country of the world. We have the least life expectancy in the world. I can go on and on. Everything that is negative in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a poor country. Nigeria is rooted in poverty. And we will change it. We are going to reverse this situation and make Nigeria a prosperous country. We want to move Nigeria from poverty, from consumption to production. And that we must do. And we must start doing it by number one, going with what Rabbi Makoto said. We need unity in Nigeria. We want to unite Nigeria. We want Nigeria to love each other. That is why people think we are changing party. Where we are now, let me assure you, we are not changing party because we want it for transaction. We were changing it by church to say some men change party based on their principle, and some men change party.
Standard we shall set will therefore restore Nigeria's dignity and will guarantee that our citizens at home and diaspora will be treated with respect and dignity. Lastly, we can only achieve that by continuing to mobilize to register with INEC to vote, and the NDC to belong to this noble cause. Please register now. Thank you. Lovely Nigeria Democratic Congress. Lovely the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Then they will laugh at you. Then they will attack you. And then you win. Few months ago, I'm sure they ignored NDC. I'm sure they laughed at NDC. But they cannot ignore or laugh now. But they are attacking. And when they attack, according to Mahatma Gandhi, then you win. Then win. NDC win. Thank you. Your Excellencies, my dear brothers, I join the National Chairman and members of the Protein National Executive Council Committee just affirmed and will not wait for this. And there are no more problems. Today I'm addressing this afternoon with a deep sense of gratitude. Firstly, to God Almighty for his mercy, for his inspiration, for his guidance, and for his protection. And I also thank you all for your confidence in this journey. I want to use this opportunity to sincerely thank all Nigerians from all walks of life for the trust and confidence they have reposed in me and on all the other leaders of the NDC at work, local governments, and states. You see, you believe in the ideals upon which the NDC has been founded. Ideals of service, of national unity and cohesion, political inclusion, women and youth empowerment, and the protection of our democratic values in Nigeria. As you all know, this party is barely 3 months old. Yet, no political party in the history of our country has enjoyed this level of acceptance, enthusiasm, and trust from all Nigerians within such a short period of time as the NDC has received. You will recall that in our collective effort to establish an alternative opposition platform that will keep the flames of Nigeria's multi-party democracy alive, we first sought to register this party in 2017. As far back as 2017, when I and others realized that the foundations of my party at the time, the PDP, the big umbrella party, had become weakened and its ideals compromised. Unfortunately, in 2017, that effort did not materialize. However, when INEC resumed party registration last year, we dusted all our applications. Even then, we encountered bureaucratic bottlenecks and challenges. And we felt that some of the challenges amounted to an infraction of our constitutional right to freedom of association. And thereafter, we approached the courts. And in December last year, judgment was duly delivered in our favor. That judgment was served on INEC, which complied and issued us a certificate of registration in only February of this year. Following that, I and a number of others publicly announced our involvement and role in this great party, and we immediately commenced nationwide mobilization and sensitization. Since then, Nigerian leaders, opinion and political leaders from every region and part of our country, north, south, east, and west, have embraced and shared in this vision. I thank the Nigerian judiciary on behalf of all of us in the NDC for upholding our constitutional right to freedom of association in the judgment of the Federal High Court that led to the registration of this party. I equally commend on behalf of all of us and all lovers of democracy at the INEC, led by Professor George Amupito, who with his leadership studied the judgment and felt that there was no need to whittle down and encumber the constitutional rights of Nigerians to freedom of association and participation. But
all right, so welcome back. Yesterday we saw, a very interesting, gathering where the NDC, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, zoned its presidential ticket to the south of Nigeria, and there are lots of questions about that. Commentaries where people are saying, "What is really happening? Is this the politics of 2027 already?" A party that was, quite new, and regarding all of the momentums that they've actually gathered in recent time, we've seen how the party has actually come out, very strong and putting up all of this. Let's go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll try to bring this conversation to you. Please stay with us.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Osoro.
on Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
All right, so welcome back to the program. We're still looking at the NDC convention and what actually happened. I have now Priscilla as we share thoughts for a few minutes. Yesterday we saw at the Los Angeles Event Center here in Abuja, Kado, where
I thought you went to Los Angeles.
No, it's an event center. It's an event center. We know we have all manners of things in Abuja. We have let's not do brands, right? But all manners of names, right? For brands and the Nigerian Democratic Congress, a party that just 3 months ago, I remember speaking to the national secretary of the party, Barrister Ekwezike. He came on my program the very day that the court registered. The INEC registered the party by court order. 2 parties were registered that same day. NDC and DLA, Democratic Leadership Alliance, and I asked him, just a new party, not much interest at the time, but now it's the pride of political parties. Everybody wants to, not everybody in quote now, wants to associate with the NDC, and yesterday they took that politically calculated risk to say, since South has done 4, we are going to do 4, and we put it in our constitution. They amended their constitution yesterday to carry that. So it's part of the party's constitution, because we've not had rotational presidents in our constitution. It's always been a gentleman agreement. Okay, so let's see. So the party went a step further. The PDP had it in their constitution, but they abandoned that in 2019 when Atiku emerged as president. But they have it in their constitution. Atiku emerged as the presidential candidate of the party in 2019. But we are seeing the NDC saying, like, 1 term is in constitution. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's contrary to the Nigerian constitution because the Nigerian constitution has a term to be 8 years. And then when a party now decides to make it a law, a constitution, I am just trying to reconcile, these two different areas and the context, the meaning, right? I understand the fact that, it's a very sensitive political season. Yeah, it's quite sensitive for Nigerian geopolitical zones. Everybody wants to see that they are part of, the process. They are not cheated and all. But when we take it a step further by enshrining it into the constitution, it would mean it might not really affect now, but if you look at it in long term, you now begin to see that the problem you're trying to solve today has become another problem, has raised a serious problem, a serious future problem. So I'm asking, what happens after 2023? Because, sorry, I beg your pardon, 2027, because all of this, I want to strongly believe is because of the personalities involved, in this whole election. So what happens afterwards? Is it rechecked? It has to be. If 2 people come together to say, okay, don't worry, I don't mind doing a 4-year term, and you now want to make it a law, there's a problem. So what's the clause to that constitution? Is it that we're saying, okay, we're making it 4 years because of the peculiarities surrounding this cycle of elections and the personalities, considering the electoral political landscape right now, this is the best way to go. But is it long term? I hope it's being reviewed as soon as it can be. Yeah. I hope if Peter Obi does not win, or maybe some other person that they bring on board does not win in 2027, it doesn't become binding, because they might eventually leave the party.
I think what they've just done now is that to say, okay, for from now to 2031, 1,000 candidates can come out and aspire to run as presidential candidates of the party.
After 4 years.
After 2031, after 2027, in 2031, no 1,000 candidates should come out to run.
So it means that the person that comes out cannot spend their 8 years constitutionally that is agreed.
No. After 2031. You can do 8 years in 2031.
They're saying 4 years.
No. It's not. No, that
is those 2027 presidents.
I was there. Let me explain what happened. No, this is what happened. Okay. They are saying for 2027 election, whoever from the south that is running on the platform of the party, you do 4 years. Okay. But after 2031, it wasn't said that it will be 4 years.
Oh.
It wasn't said. So
whoever that is running from the south
from 2027. From 2027 to 2031
must stay 4 years.
4 years.
And the north
takes over from that and do 8 years.
It means that the south cannot come 2031.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The south, the party.
That's what I'm saying. Our constitution says you should be able to rule for 8 years.
But the party is already saying, are you not seeing what the party is?
I understand. All I'm asking is, okay, after 2031, this whole constitution, is it just for 2027 and 2031? Afterwards, is it cancelled? Is that clause really included in that constitution?
No, it's of course because it would have overstayed its time, right? Because it's time bound. They've put dates and time to it. It's just like maybe a country makes a law and said somebody should not do this in this particular time. So after that time, it's of no effect again. So it's of course it cannot.
So it means that because I'm really concerned because this might raise issues in the future. It means that if someone from the south comes into power from now to 2031, someone from the north comes into power, say 2031, that person from the north is allowed to do 8 years.
Absolutely.
Then the person from the south says he's already said that he cannot do up to 8 years.
No. The person after that 8 years, if another person from the south comes, the person will do 8 years. This is the arrangement. They are saying that the gentleman agreement that they're trying to do. They're saying the southern tenure is supposed to be 8 years. Tinubu is from the south. He's done 4 years again.
So they've done 4 years.
Yeah. So what remains from the south is 4 years. Yeah.
And after that cycle, someone from the north comes and it resets.
Yes, it resets
again,
right.
And then everybody can do their 8 years.
Right.
Well, I hope
so sadly, this is the cycle in 2027. Anybody from the south that is running falls in, and like Peter Obi said yesterday, and I played the clip year 2 this morning. He said he is in agreement with that. So
Obi has always been for I don't mind.
Right. So but there are questions. People like us have questions. In 4 years, are you going to fix power in 4 years? Are you going to fix transportation? Is it education? What are you really going to fix in 4 years?
Yeah.
Right? So
I also have that concept.
These are fundamental questions.
By saying Nigeria is quite a complex state. If you examine Nigeria as a state, it's quite complex because you're having to deal with different tribes, different races, different religions. It's dealing with humans can really be complex. It's not an easy thing. And then you're having to also make sure that your policies are accepted by all and sundry, and not just that. You're also dealing with people that will make it work for you, because there are people that will say, okay, come into power, and the moment you're saying you're going against what they want, they begin to sabotage your efforts. They begin to make sure that you're funny enough, they can be all loyal to you in your face, but behind you, they are loyal to someone else. So how do you play that? Everybody loves Peter Obi role. Everybody loves Jennifer. Everybody loves Peter Obi role. How do you get the way people are shouting and clamoring for you to come into power? All this electorate right now, Nigerians right now, they are not going to go into power with you. They will still be at that point waiting to receive, except maybe you can look around you, look at your supporters and see, oh, this person is a professional in this space. I want to appoint this person. This is a professional in this space. I want to appoint this person. You need to really play that leadership role that we have not seen in this world. Do you understand? It's really complex. But again, nothing is impossible.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I also feel that because of the kind of democracy we run, where we talk about it. I've spoken to some person who said, "Oh, it depends on the leader. If the leader is interested in good governance, it can be done. It will be done." Well, you know that we run subnationals that are almost as powerful as nationals of some countries. Right? Lagos, for instance, Lagos is a country of its own, because some countries in Africa, and even primarily in Africa because of our currency. But even in Europe, there are countries, if you want to look at the population and a lot of other things, they cannot meet up with Lagos, right? Lagos is a subnational that can outwardly run on its own. They have the population, they have the manpower, they have the industries, they have the energy. You are coming to be a president over all of these people, 36 of them that are running subnational. You are coming to be president over 774 local government chairmen that would decide what happens at the grassroots level. And you have senators that are quite very influential, and you need to pass bills through them. They have House of Representative members. Are you going to scrap it? And you cannot even do it because you don't have it's not a fiat, it's not a military era. So there are lots of things that you need to pass through them. And according to what we've said over time, the Nigerian system is immersed in corruption. Somebody was telling me the idea what he calls baseline corruption. He was just trying to explain corruption to me. And he said, I said, no, politicians are corrupt. He said, let me even tell you, the person you'd have thought is not corrupt is corrupt. We had a case, somebody came to report, he was, I think, suspended from work indefinitely. So he got involved to go beg the people, please take him back. So one of those days, he just asked him, how much are you even earning? The person said 30,000. He said, is it 30,000 naira job that you are begging to go back? The person said, it's not really about the salary. He now said, it's about what? He was not explaining. He said, the station, they do products, they supply products. So he's in charge of the warehouse or supply chain or what have you. So if product is for 5,000, people will come to get the product. He could sell the product for 4,500. The standard is 5,000. He could give you product was for 5,500. And so most of these people do not have the time to use the weights and go through the measurements. They don't have that time. You measure, you sell. So at the end of the day, he makes over 50,000, 30,000, 40,000 in a day. The least he says he makes is 5,000 in a day. Wow. That's a day that. So why will you not beg? Why will you not beg? You know. So when we saw the way the person was begging because he was suspended, like, this job is not the kind of job you should be begging like this. He says, sir, it's not because of the salary. So you could imagine that's like somebody you would just see, not uneducated, unschooled, but is involved in that level of corruption. And even the person that gave him the job empowers him, because how can you give somebody who is married and has a family a job of 30,000 and you see them come week in, week out? You're not even asking them, right? Mm-hmm. So because of the lack of touch of leadership at all levels, private sector, public sector, you don't even care. How are my staff coming to work in this harsh economy? So you just see them, you pay them 30,000, you are thinking you are coming for yourself.
To beg you for 30,000 now. They're still coming back to say, oh, please.
No, they're not begging. They're begging for the job.
That's what I'm saying. And you're not thinking, something must be wrong somewhere.
What is really happening? Right. So because the corruption goes round, right? The same thing with the police system. People want, so the same thing with, so how do you as Peter Obi clear this? Stop this?
Well,
minimize it. So I think now should be a time of thinking, strategic thinking for his team, because obviously I don't need a soothsayer to tell me that he's going to emerge, because even the political the founder of the NDC and the national leader of the party, Saraki Dixon, you know, in his words, he didn't say it clearly, but we are not children. We could sieve some of these things out. Right, go ahead.
So it's one of the reasons why Nigerians must know at this point that beyond, you're not voting for political parties. You're voting for personalities. And you're not voting for just a president. A president alone cannot make the country work. You need the right members of the House of Representatives. You need the right senators. You need the right local government chairmen. You need the right councillors. You need the right... Everybody that is going to be on that ballot has to be a good person for Peter Obi to work in 4 years. I mean, reasonably. I mean, you cannot get...
For any president, not Peter Obi, let's not put names to this.
No, let's give an example, because we're talking about Peter Obi saying I can do it in 4 years. Right. So the only way it can work
to restore unity.
If the only way it can work is that we have Peter Obi's in the House of Rep. We have Peter Obi's. Let's assume that he can actually fix it, right? Assuming that it's possible to fix it. This is the reality of fixing Nigeria in 4 years. Right. If Peter Obi says I can do it in 4 years, so you need a Peter Obi that will be a governor in that across states. You need a Peter Obi that will be in the House of Senate and all of that. You need Peter Obi's everywhere. At least you need 50% Peter Obi.
Right. So, but I'd like to ask this question. Yeah. Some have said, is this 4 years tenure dangling by Peter Obi a strategy or desperation? Because now the ADC is calling it desperation. They say desperate
politicians. Desperate
politicians that are after personal interest.
Well, if you want to call it what you want to call it, we spoke to an obedient. We spoke to an obedient recently, and one of the things he said was, "We're the ones. Peter Obi we want Peter Obi to be president." So it's not about him. He said Peter Obi doesn't even have a choice, according to what that obedient said.
Is that not what everybody says? My people vote for people say that you contest.
No, I'm telling you, this is organically. This is not someone that is very prominent. He said. He said Peter Obi doesn't have a choice at this moment. Nigerians are looking for. We have come together as Nigerians, so we want a good leader, and we have chosen him. And he cannot. So it is more of the influence of the obedience. Right. In all honesty, that's what this guy said. And if you look at it critically, you will see that if you go on social media, of course, largely they occupy that space, and you would see comments. You would see people come out to defend. You would talk. People who came out to say, even if Peter Obi decided to join NYSC. I'll be following him. If he decides to join MTN, I'll follow him and go there. So, this whole movement, it is important to note that it is championed solely, like the majority of the force, the backing is coming from disobedience. They are quite a force. And at this point, I mean, Peter will be just trying to be diplomatically aligned with them because you can't really go in that force. You can't. He said clearly that if he decides to go on Twitter, they will roast him. On Facebook, they will roast him. That's what he clearly said verbatim. So it is a force that he is, gently trying to align with, and he knows that these people want something better. You have assured them, okay, I can try it, or I can be that person, and they have decided to stick with him. So the moment he went to the ADC, they went with him. They had their terms and their conditions. At that point, you can't say you are desperate because the people they are the same ones that said, okay, go and try. Do you get? They aligned with him into the ADC. And they stated their terms and conditions. They kept saying he has to clinch the ticket. It was not Peter Obi himself. If you look at, the whole antecedent, the obedient said, if he's not going to be the presidential candidate, we are not doing. From day one, that have been their stance. At the point where they noticed, talking about the obedient, noticed that, okay, this people might not, it might not be fair here. They decided to re-strategize. So, if you look at it clearly, if you look at it well, you would know that it is not, if you want to call it desperation, well, you can decide to call that, but it is not a Peter Obi's desperation. Maybe it's the people's desperation. The obedience desperation. Right. Exactly.
All right, so wonderful times in the making. We'll keep analyzing this and following up with the stories as it comes. But Priscilla has conversations for us, but let's go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll be having that conversation with Priscilla Obasi. Stay with us.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Osoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
Thank you very much for still being here with us. There is so much to talk politics in Nigeria. I mean, the political atmosphere is brewing as we approach 2027 elections, and activities are springing up from every political party. We saw at some point the ADC being the talk of the town, and in recent times the NDC now has taken that position as the talk of the town, with many politicians defecting left, right, center. Interestingly, the APC too has their own fallout with, some aggrieved politicians. We keep asking, what is the cause? Why are there so much defections? What is it going to look like? What is 2027 going to look like? It ultimately seems like, there is an interesting time ahead of us. We will still be on this conversation, but this time around, we're going to be joined by a political analyst all the way from Niger State, Apaya Usman Mohammed. He will be joining us to lending his voice on a very controversial topic, talking about the defection wave and Nigeria's evolving political landscape. Usman Apaya, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much.
So let's get straight to it. Let us get straight to it. Let's begin broadly. How would you describe Nigeria's political landscape? What would be your opinion of, everything that's been happening as we get towards the 2027 elections?
Well, looking at the Nigerian political landscape, you realize that the atmosphere blends with a lot of uncertainty. Looking at all the political fronts, the ruling party, which is the APC, the coalition parties, and other parties who will wish to stand in the coming election. You see, when you look at the ruling APC, there's a lot of, you should expect a lot of a crisis in the party, considering the fact that the ongoing primary election that is coming in the matter of this already there are crises here and there. You look at it, the mode of the election has been agreed by the party. Already some governors are taking advantage. The National Assembly, who actually were working for the president in order to have automatic tickets, they are being shocked and surprised as the president has made it categorically clear to them that there is no automatic ticket. The party has made its position, and the governors are being empowered to go and work out modalities of the primaries. So that automatically gives the governors age, because some governors are having issues with some candidates or aspirants in their states, and so much so that they're trying to block some candidates from having their chance to be part of the electoral process. So again, already there is tension on ground that if most of these candidates, most importantly members of the National Assembly, if they deny them the ticket to, of getting re-election or whatever, they are going to leave the party. And the governors, most of them, because of their selfish nature of the politicking, they too want to be, the governors who are actually finishing their second term want to be returned to go to the National Assembly, because they have turned the National Assembly into a retirement chamber. So that you should expect crisis from that angle. Again, if you look at the coalition party and other parties, they too are having their own problems. For instance, the coalition ADC, you see, they are having back and front political issues, ranging from court cases to internal democracy issues they are having within themselves. And you can see the APC is not giving them chances to stand with their two legs. So that is another very, very serious trouble that is coming out. Again, Nigerians on the other side, despite the fact that there are complaints here and there, ranging from issue of insecurity, economic hardship, political instability, and the rest, they want a kind of credible opposition who will provide an alternative for them. But the opposition that is supposed to provide alternatives are themselves are not united. Normally opposition coalition government anywhere in the world used to be a problem government, because you have people of different vested interests who are coming together to pursue a common goal. By the time this goal is being achieved, there's going to be a problem of who wants to be at a particular position. Now, forgetting the fact that you went to Nigeria cap in hand to ask them to give you the mandate so that you can fix the problem on ground. But as you have gotten the power, the money that has been given, instead of being able to settle and look at Nigerians, you now begin to look at yourself. How do we compensate Mr. A? How do you compensate Mr. B? That is how interest now comes. So you now jettison the interest of Nigerians who actually gave you the mandate to go there and deal with some of the problems on ground. So that is one problem that you should expect. If coalition government comes, before they will settle down, they will have to think of how to compensate themselves. People have made sacrifices politically, financially, and otherwise. You want to compensate them. So that is another very big problem. And again, aside from coalition, you now have people, after coming together, asking Nigerians to come, try to give Nigeria credible opposition and alternative. You now have some people now, because of vested interest, like I said before, some people after coming as a coalition, they are now breaking out. You now have the NDC, Peter Obi and Okoso. These are two political factors who actually mean, have a lot of political weight. They are now breaking out of the coalition ADC to form another one. So you now see you have a kind of splinter in terms of, pushing the political whatever. So there's, like I said, there is a lot of tension on the ground. There's a lot of uncertainty because as it is now, you will agree with me that Nigerians are tired with a lot of promises that have not been made. The APC, when coming to power, make a lot of promises. None of these promises have been achieved, and Nigerians are crying, yearning for change. Now, the only people who are there to provide this change for them now are not actually, are putting their house together. That is, again, another very important thing that is of noticing, worthy of noticing, is the issue of Electoral Act. The Electoral Act is coming with its own, confusion, because Nigerians wanted to have an a voting, their votes should count. And in an attempt to make their vote count, they want electoral transmission of vote, and which is achievable. It's not achievable because the National Assembly have come with a kind of electoral act that have thrown Nigerians into confusion. You have some youth out there protesting and asking that they should reverse that electoral act and have a position that we guarantee transmission of voting electronically. So you are dealing with that one. Again, you have issue of INEC. The umpire that's supposed to superintend over this election is having a very serious problem. The INEC boss, Professor George Amupitan, is having a lot of issue hanging on his neck. There is an allegation of he being a sympathizer of APC, and he is being appointed by APC government. Is definitely going to work for the greater benefit of the APC. So this is another very, very important, the troubling issue on that side. Again, the judiciary now. Nigerians don't have much confidence in the judiciary, considering the fact that, at a point, the judiciary have made it open that they are falling on the mandate of the president. So, when there is an issue, you want to court to seek redress. The same people you are wanting to seek redress have actually taken a side. So, how do you think, after the election, the issue that might actually follow, the court will be, they uphold that judicial integrity to dispense law the way it should be. So that's another very, very important issue. And you can see now another very important issue again. We're in a global world. You can see this digital, world that we are now. Everything that is happening now, you have a real-time, update of what is happening. So by the time you have these youth now that are on digital, whatever platform, trying to give an update of what is happening, after, they have now had the information about the happening at different polling units, different world, different states. Before you know it, they have actually come up with their own results, only for INEC to come and announce another different result. So that is another very important factor, and that is why I said that when you look at the political atmosphere of the country, it's full with a lot of uncertainty, unless, of course, the government is ready to do the right thing. And if you look at it comparatively, if you go back to the recent history, in 2014, when Goodluck Jonathan, despite his vested interest, wanted to come back for the second time, to some very large extent, he has been able to give a level playground, despite the fact that he has made it open that he actually wants to have his second term. Despite the fact that you have people from the Niger Delta, where the president held from, actually threatening that it must be, Goodluck must be given second term, not minding the fact that politics is a game of number. But again, Goodluck on the other way around actually looked Nigerian, despite the fact that he has been promising Nigerian that he is going to be quick, a free and fair, credible election, which he did. At a point when he feels that the results not coming his way, and since he has promised Nigerian that it's going to be the interest of Nigeria, of course, before his own interest, you have to jettison throw in the towel at a point, even before the counting or collation of results was over. He called the president-elect, then President Muhammadu Buhari, and congratulated him. But at this time, are you seeing a replica of that type of spirit? So that is why I said the atmosphere is full of uncertainties. This is because of the vested interest of the political leaders at this material time.
Parties. I mean, you've highlighted virtually almost all political parties. We have, coalition now at the forefront, and they seem to be divided. The ADC was sometime the talk of the town when it comes to coalition, but until the NDC sprang up. Looking at Nigeria's political parties, talking ADC, Labour Party, APC, and NDC, all of the political parties, which would you say is more organized and prepared for 2027? Because we also, like I highlighted when we started, we also have, people fall out within the APC. So which party would you look at and say is prepared and ready for 2027 elections?
Well, the preparedness is all depend on how you look at it. Before now, you look at the incumbent, the APC, which is not having any issue before. If not for the issue of these primaries, to agree with me that the APC is from large extent prepared to face the 2027 election. Forget the fact, put aside the fact whether Nigerians are ready to give them the mandate or not, but them as a party, they are united. There is no much internal wrangling within the APC. But in the coming days, you will have one because APC seems to be sitting on the time bomb. This election, this primary election, will definitely unleash a lot of things. So that is APC on one side. Their preparedness to some large extent is not guaranteed. Now, if you look at the coalition ADC, this is a different political parties or political players who come together to form that ADC. But at a point when they started, Nigerians have hope because you have all lots of political juggernauts cut across the state, the regions of the country, coming together in that ADC. But at a point, there are a lot of political spoilers who have been installed into the APC to scatter the APC. And at a point, you hear when the chief of staff to the president, saying Gbajabiamila, asking a particular leader in the ADC, talking about a Leke, a member representing Kogi State, who actually asked him to go and destroy the party, scatter them, and in an open forum. So, you can see that the APC, in one way or the other, have actually tried to bring this unity into the ADC. And again, the Natu Bala faction is another very, very, a serious trouble there for the APC that have actually caused disunity, despite the fact that Natu Bala, at a point, he was seen to have actually endorsed the leadership of David Mark, leadership of the ADC. They have actually appended his signature to support their coming, but at a point, something happened behind the scene, and he was now coming to now reverse back and say that no, he is the leader of the party. Despite the fact that he wasn't the vice national chairman after Arap Wosu have actually, resigned to take way for David Mark to come. So, in a nutshell, they have actually tried to create a disunity to ADC, and now that there is an issue that they have to go to Supreme Court to interpret the law, partially the Supreme Court interpreted the law. Nigerians expected that they should have let the issue to rest, but they are unable to do that. So that is another element of disunity that has been created there. Now, if you come to the NDC, the emerging political opposition that Nigerians are now seeing as one viable opposition, the Peter Obi also, who actually told you that there are political phenomena in this country today are now cross-carpeted to the NDC, and you now see a whole lot of red member who are loyal to Kokoso actually follow him. A lot of youth and politicians who are so loyal and a sympathizer of Peter Obi have actually decamped the camp to the NDC because of the love and passion. But the thing now is that, are they having national threats? Okay, you talk about Peter Obi leveraging on his 6 million vote that he got in the last election. Is he going to still maintain or have those followership? Is he maintain those followership? That's one question you let ask. Then Kokoso, who got a million plus votes in Kano, you understand? Is he having national threats coming together now? There is this issue of sentiment in the north that after supporting the southern part of the country to produce a president, they have actually not benefited anything. 6 billion votes they gave in the last election, it has actually not replenished. So that is another very factor. So we are not too sure that the ADC is the APC, the ruling party, considering the fact that if they allow the NDC to continue to gather momentum, it's going to be a threat to them. They might want to put some spoilers again, the same way they did to the ADC, the Labour, the NNPP, and other political parties who actually came up very stronger, making attempts to give the APC the run for its money. So with all these things now, if you are not careful, you're going to have a lot of problems. So it's not going to be left to Nigerians now who are the actual voters. But the big problem is that if Nigerians vote, will their vote count? Considering the fact that Professor Amufitan has actually taken position, identified himself with a political party through some of his past events, some of the past, records. So even though they are denying that, but it's glaring. So these are some of those factors that it will be very hard for you to say which among these political parties is stable. But if we are to be very fair, to some very large extent now, you might say temporarily the ADC, I mean the NDC, are having a better chance in terms of having unity and the love of Nigerians temporarily. We don't know what will come in the coming days because this is politics. The trajectory keeps changing. I mean, every minute that passes, every day that passes, every hour that passes, it keeps changing. The ADC, the coalition ADC now have gone into hibernation. You can't tell whether they are strategizing or they are feeling from the shock of Uncle So and Uobi, who actually abruptly left them unannounced. So you can't tell. But whether they are trying to reunite and bring a little from political, juggernaut into the party. Again, there's one thing that happened again. Recently, former President Goodluck Jonathan, commute went to him and asked him to come and actually, make himself available for 2027 contest. And he told them that he is going to make some consultation and you get back to them. But before then, he asked them to go and get their card reader because Nigeria is one of those countries in the world that is, facing voter apathy. So he has actually, in a way, tried to encourage them to be part of this election that is coming. But only for him to now come and say he is supporting Peter Obi, he has believed in him. So, if Goodluck is one politician Nigerians cherish so much, and if Goodluck is now, pitching tent or directly or indirectly supporting Peter Obi, that means that party, NDC, might, have upper hand in terms of unity and, of course, love of Nigeria. So, as it is now temporarily, my submission would be that the NDC is having aid in terms of unity and support of Nigerians. Hello. I don't know if you are with me.
Okay, so I said the NDC has come out to say that the 2027 elections will be zoned to the south, and 2031, which follows after the 2027 elections, will be zoned to the north. This has also been included in their constitution. I mean, they have gone a step ahead, unlike other parties that usually have it as a gentleman agreement. Now, my question is, what if a Peter Obi or maybe the presidential candidate, for 2027 doesn't emerge in 2031? I'm just wondering what happens. And what do you think about them even making this or imputing this in their constitution? Does it make any sense to you?
Yes, thank you very much. It is a deliberate effort they have made in order to woo or to gain the sympathy of Nigerians, particularly the northern part of the country who actually have a lot of votes to give for any other person who will emerge as winner. Let's be realistic. For you to have or to clinch this presidency, you need the overwhelming support of the North because of their population. Support of the North, you only need support either from that actually supported you with the vote you're going to garner from the North, you're going to win. So I think the NDC deliberately made this in order to have the sympathy of the North, considering the fact that Peter Obi is going to be filled as a presidential candidate, and also is going to be the running mate. That's not the calculation. So now, the Northerners now will now see, okay, if Peter Obi will be allowed to actually finish the remaining term of the South. This running arrangement is not constitutional. It's just a mutual arrangement in order not to let any region, not to marginalize any of the regions. So now that Peter Obi have agreed to come to actually, finish the second term of the southern part of the country because of the dichotomy, definitely the North will now want to say, okay, let's see how we can support Peter Obi.
You can see, and I don't know if our guest is still there. Sir, can you hear me? We may need to rejoin our guest, but meanwhile, let's just take a look at this clip just before we continue.
I wish to start by most sincerely thanking the NDC family led by our leader, Frank Dixon, for the invitation and the warm welcome we received. I want to use the same opportunity that every time the NDC where we are coming from for accommodating us politically, when due to unresolved litigation, we left our parties, Labour Party and ANPP, and assured them that we wish them all the best, especially thanking the chairman of the party, who was very exceptional, David Mark. As we are here now in NDC, we are part of this family. And this is a great family that have gone around Nigeria. Today in Nigeria, we are seeing beneficiaries of our democracy, beneficiaries of our judiciary, beneficiaries of good governance, turn themselves into an agent of destroying democracy, into an agent of injustice, into an agent to ensure that what they benefited from will no longer apply to Nigerians, especially to the opposition party. And I thank the leaders of NDC, especially the leader, for insisting we can't have one party in Nigeria. Nigeria must have democracy, and we insist that those who think we will have free and fair election in 2027, let them rethink now, because in 2027 we are going to have free, fair, and credible election. Today in Nigeria, over 140 million Nigerians live in multi-dimensional poverty. Over 80 million Nigerian youths are unemployed and underemployed. Nigerians are now being killed on a daily basis. Since the beginning of this month, we've lost over 100 Nigerians. Mothers are no longer sure their children that left for school will come back. They're not sure that their children that went to work will come back. Every Nigerian today is worried. No Nigerian knows where the next plane will come from. Because Nigeria is down among the hungriest countries of the world, among the most insecure countries of the world. We have the least life expectancy in the world. I can go on and on. Everything that is negative in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a poor country. Nigeria is rooted into poverty. And we will change it. We are going to reverse this situation and make Nigeria a prosperous country. We want to move Nigeria from poverty, from consumption to production. And that we must do. And we must start doing it by think we are changing party. Where we are now, let me assure you, we are not changing party because we want it for transaction. We were changing it by trying to say some men change party based on their principle, and some men change party.
They will ignore you. Then they will laugh at you. Then they will attack you. And then you win. You months ago, I'm sure they ignored NBC. I'm sure they laughed at NBC, but they cannot ignore or laugh now. But they are attacking. And when they attack, according to Mahatma Gandhi, then you win. Then win. NBC win. Thank you. Your Excellencies, my dear brothers, I join the national chairman and members of the Protein National Executive Council Committee just affirmed and will not wait for this. And there are no more problems. Today I ask you this afternoon with a deep sense of gratitude. Firstly, to God Almighty for His mercy, for His inspiration, for His guidance, and for His protection. And I also thank you all for your confidence in this journey. I want to use this opportunity to sincerely thank all Nigerians from all walks of life for the trust and confidence they have reposed in me and on all the other leaders of the NDC at work, local governments, and states. You see, you believe in the ideals upon which the NDC has been founded. Ideals of service, of national unity and cohesion, political inclusion, women and youth empowerment, and the protection of our democratic values in Nigeria. As you all know, this party is barely 3 months old. Yet, no political party in the history of our country has enjoyed this level of acceptance, enthusiasm, and trust from all Nigerians within such a short period of time as the NDC has received. You will recall that in our collective effort to establish an alternative opposition platform that will keep the flames of Nigeria's multi-party democracy alive, we first sought to register this party in 2017. As far back as 2017, when I and others realized that the foundations of my party at the time, the PDP, the big umbrella party, had become weakened and its ideals compromised. Unfortunately, in 2017, that effort did not materialize. However, when INEC resumed party registration last year, we dusted all our applications. Even then, we encountered bureaucratic bottlenecks and challenges. And we felt that some of the challenges amounted to an infraction of our constitutional right to freedom of association. And thereafter, we approached the court. And in December last year, judgment was duly delivered in our favor. That judgment was served on INEC, which complied and issued us a certificate of registration in only February of this year. Following that, I in this great party, and we immediately commenced nationwide mobilization and sensitization. Since then, Nigerian leaders, opinion and political leaders from every region and part of our country, north, south, east and west, have embraced and shared in this vision. I thank the Nigerian judiciary on behalf of all of us in the NDC for upholding our constitutional right to freedom of association in the judgment of the Federal High Court that led to the registration of this party. I equally commend on behalf of all of us and all lovers of democracy at the INEC, led by Professor Joel Amopito, who with his leadership studied the judgment and felt that there was no need to whittle down and encumber the constitutional rights of Nigerians to freedom of association and participation. But
okay, that was the NDC convention yesterday, and the political atmosphere is really getting into by the day. We're still with our wonderful guest, Usman. Are you still there, sir? Okay, thank you for still being here. We just highlighted some of the, high points of the convention, the NDC convention yesterday. I would want to ask, just to follow up with the question I asked before we went on this break. The NDC has said 4 years will be zoned to the east. Yeah? The South, I beg your pardon, the South. Do you think 4 years is enough to fix, or do you think 4 years is enough time for a president to come and make an impact in Nigeria, considering all the peculiarities that come with Nigerian politics?
Four years is more than enough for you to actually fix whatever you want to achieve. In running government, you set goals. In less than 24 hours, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed subsidy, and he said subsidy is gone forever, and it's gone forever. No matter how the outcry by Nigerians, nothing is bringing back subsidy as far as this government is concerned. So, if the NDC is telling you that they are zoning the presidency to the south for them to do 4 years and hand over the baton to the north to actually do either 4 or 8 years, as the case may be. I think, if there is a political goodwill, there's nothing that is stopping them from achieving what they want to achieve. Like I said before, you run government by setting goals. Recall that we've had a president in this country that have 7-point agenda, talking about later President Yar'Adua, and you see Yar'Adua deliberately working towards achieving those 7-point agenda, from education to health to infrastructure to electricity. He has actually started well before destiny could take its part and and consume him. So I think if the ADC actually set of goals, and there is a political goodwill, and there is that spirit of patriotism, that spirit of love, not spirit of coming to want to compensate, their political associate, or the spirit of coming to say want to come and do vendetta, because there has been a call. Because as it is now, this NDC is not only zoning their presidency to the south, but they are particularly zoning it to the southeast. And these are the people who have actually been crying of being marginalized. They have not actually been given the opportunity to come and actually fill a candidate or to have the thought of the presidency. Since the return of democracy in 1999, the North have had its own shot. The South have actually, but the South now is now only the South, and of course the Southwest. The Southeast now are actually crying of that spirit of marginalization that is being mentored of them. So if they are actually coming to actually, take Nigerian to promised land without that spirit of vendetta, or that spirit of saying, okay, since we have been marginalized, it is our own turn now to do what we're going to do. The same way we are seeing now, nobody expected that the APC will actually take Nigeria into this type of political trajectory. As it is now, whether you like it or not, the evidence are there on ground that the government have, in a way, been so tribalized, so much so that Nigerians are now losing confidence on the government on daily basis. You see the appointment, you can see it is the president is from the southwestern part of the, which is Yoruba to be precise, and you can see how Yorubas are being favored in terms of appointment. Or virtually all the very important position, very critical position are being actually having Yorubas being appointed in that position. So you don't expect the north, which is predominantly Hausas, or the southeast, which are predominantly the Igbos, will know. You can't say they are not seeing all this is happening. But one thing that's going to be a guiding spirit is that spirit of patriotism. If the NDC will actually, give Nigerians the benefit of the doubt that they are not coming to, bring their own personal aggrandizement into the government. If they are ready to rule the country, if the mandate is being given in accordance with that, tenet of democracy, that thing that binds us together, which is unity. If they are coming to say, okay, we are going to, take Nigeria out of its present political quagmire and the present economic, encumbrances that Nigeria has been subjected to, if we are coming to address all these issues, insecurity in all the parts of the country, particularly the northern part of the country, the economic, encumbrances, the political instability, if we are coming to deal with all these problems, I want to tell you that they will have love of Nigerians. But the fear now is that nobody expected that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a political juggernaut who have actually, supported democracy from the days of the DECO till the merger of APC and to the current situation we are now, can, abruptly change his political, sagacity. If that fear will be taken off, then I tell you Nigerians are going to support them. But if they will want to suppress Nigerians the same way this president is doing, I tell you that 4 years that they want to do will not, because there is one thing, there is a theory of deconstruction that says anything that is written is subject to change. If they don't want to use that theory of deconstruction, that any agreement can be breached, if they want to be faithful and of course be patriotic, so that what they tell Nigerians and what they tell the North, who are actually going to have this agreement together, if they want to uphold that promise, I tell you, the NDC is going to go to places.
Breakdown of your analysis. We cannot go further because of the constraint of time, but I want to say thank you so much for joining us on the program today. The political atmosphere will keep getting interesting even as we approach 2027 elections. But one thing that is worthy of note is that, just as you highlighted, that former President Goodluck Jonathan said, everybody must be involved. Everybody go back and get your PVCs, because we can talk from today till tomorrow, but if we do not have our PVCs, everything will be, we have been saying, or everything we will continue to say will be empty. So Nigerians, this is an appeal to go and make sure you have finalized your process or you get your PVCs so that you can be part of the process. Thank you so much to our wonderful guest for joining us today. We really appreciate your time, and to our viewers for staying tuned up to this time. I hope we've had an interesting conversation. I am too sure of that. This is to remind you that all of our guests, all of the views of our guests are strictly brought to you by them. Global Television does not contribute to that addition. And then all the stories brought to you on our national dailies are as published by the respective publishers. Global Television do not contribute to that. I want to say a very big thank you. I still remain your host, Priscilla Obasi, and this is me wishing you an amazing Sunday. Bye for now.